Before we begin, welcome to Life Glitched, a place where I tell first-person tales about betrayal, hard awakenings, and the exact moment someone finally decides they deserve better. If you like long, honest stories that feel like they could happen to anyone, tap like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Because what you're about to hear is how one Christmas dinner blew up a 9-year relationship and reminded me that walking away could be the most powerful thing a person ever does now. Turn up the volume, and let's start. My name is Adrian Cole, and last Christmas I found out exactly lo que valgo at my own dining table. We were hosting dinner in the house I pay for, the place I thought of as our home. I spent the whole morning cleaning, cooking, and setting everything up the way my partner, Lena, wanted. She'd been whispering with her mother all week, calling it a special family celebration, but I assumed it was just holiday stress. When it was finally time to sit down, I walked into the dining room carrying a tray of wine glasses and froze. Sitting at the head of the table, in my chair, was her ex, Ronan, the man who walked out on her and her daughter almost 9 years ago. Before I could even process what I was seeing, Lena grabbed my arm, shoved me back against the doorframe, and said, "Move. That seat is saved for Ronan. He's Chloe's real father." Her mother sat smirking on the other side of the table like she'd been waiting for this moment all week. Chloe, my 15-year-old stepdaughter, the girl I'd been raising since she was 7, stared down at her plate like she wanted to disappear. This is the kid whose school I paid for, whose braces I covered, whose college fund I'd been building slowly month after month. I tried to stay calm. "Excuse me," I asked. Ronan leaned back in my chair and said, "You heard her. It's family time." Lena pointed at a cheap folding chair shoved into the corner. "It's important for Chloe to have her real dad here. You can sit there." I looked at Chloe, hoping she'd say something, anything. "Is this really what you want?" I asked her. She didn't look up. She just kept staring at her plate. I tried again. "Chloe." She snapped her head up, glared at me, and shouted, "If you don't like it, just leave. Nobody's forcing you to stay." Her grandmother clapped like she was watching a show. Ronan smiled. Lena folded her arms, waiting for me to either obey or explode. They wanted drama. They wanted to see me beg for my place at a table I paid for, in a house I owned. Instead, I set the wine glasses down carefully, turned around, grabbed my coat and my keys. "Where are you going?" Lena asked, and for the first time that evening her voice shook. I didn't answer. I walked out into the cold December night, got into my car, and drove away. They thought they were kicking me out. They had no idea I was about to shut the whole door on them. I pulled into the parking lot of a quiet coffee shop and sat there in the dark with my phone. Then I made a list of every account, every bill, every service that existed because of me. In total, 40-something items. First, online banking. I moved every cent from our joint account into a new personal account under only my name. In a couple of minutes, $76,000 were safe. Next, the credit cards. 3 cards, all in my name. Canceled. Then the car insurance for the SUV Lena drove. Canceled. Good luck getting coverage on Christmas. Our cell plan, both lines under my account. I scheduled the service to shut off at midnight. After that, nothing. Streaming services, home security, internet, all updated and locked with new passwords. Her gym membership gone. Every few minutes my phone buzzed on the passenger seat as messages and calls started piling up, but I didn't open anything. I just kept working through the list. By the time I was done, I had taken care of 30-plus items right there in the car. The rest would have to wait until businesses opened after the holiday. Property management, legal paperwork, formal notices. I already had a family lawyer's name saved from months ago, a backup plan I never thought I would really use. When I finally drove to my brother Mark's place, he opened the door, took one look at my face, and stepped aside. "Guest room's yours," he said, handing me a beer. When I turned my phone off that night, I had 35 missed calls. They thought they were teaching me a lesson, showing me that I was just a wallet, not part of the family. They were right about one thing. I wasn't family to them, which meant I didn't owe them my money, my house, or my presence. In the morning, they would wake up to a different world, one where humiliating me came with consequences. I slept surprisingly well. They told me to leave, so I left, and I took everything that was mine with me. I woke up at 6 in Mark's spare room, made coffee, and pulled out my notebook and laptop. First, I called the family lawyer I'd researched months earlier, a man named Gregory Holt. I left a detailed voicemail explaining exactly what had happened and asked for an emergency appointment as soon as his office reopened after the holidays. Then I sat down and documented the previous night in painful detail. I wrote out everything that was said, who witnessed it, the shove, the shouting, who sat where, and what I did afterward. I took screenshots of every financial move I had made. I built a clear timeline, 3 full pages that any lawyer would be happy to see. By 7:30, I was done. My phone stayed off. I knew what was happening back at the house, and I wanted them to stew in it a little longer. Around 9, I finally turned my phone on. Notification sounds ran for a full minute. More than 60 missed calls, dozens of texts, a few voicemails I had no intention of listening to. I just scrolled to see the pattern. The early messages from the night before were confused, then irritated, then angry. By 3 in the morning, they were desperate. The most recent text, sent about 20 minutes earlier, said, "Please call me. We need to talk. This has gone too far." I poured another coffee and went to sit on my brother's back porch despite the cold. He came out, handed me a blanket, and asked, "You going to tell me what happened?" So I did. Every detail. The shove, the way Chloe shouted at me, Ronan sitting in my chair, her mother clapping. Mark listened in silence. When I was done, he nodded once. "You did the right thing." "I know," I said. "What now?" "Eventually, they'll show up here," I told him. "When they do, I need you not to let them in." He didn't hesitate. "Done." Around 11, my phone started buzzing again from a different number. This time it was Lena's mother. I declined. She called again. Declined. A text followed. "You're being childish. Answer the phone and fix this." I blocked the number. Around noon, Chloe's number flashed across my screen. I stared at it for a moment, then declined the call. She was 15, old enough to understand what she'd done. A text arrived right after. "Please talk to Mom. She's losing it." "Good," I muttered. At 1 in the afternoon, a call came in from a number I didn't recognize. I almost ignored it, but something in me said answer. "Hello." "Hi. This is about the property on Maple Lane," a professional woman's voice said. "Who's calling?" "This is Karen from Riverstone Property Management. We got a call this morning from a woman claiming to be the owner, but our records show you as the sole owner. She became quite upset when we said we couldn't discuss anything with her." I smiled. "That's correct. I'm the only owner. She has no legal rights to the property. She mentioned needing the locks changed because you had, quote, abandoned the family. I wanted to verify the situation before sending someone." "Do not send anyone for her," I said. "In fact, I need to schedule a time to come by and sign paperwork regarding that house. Are you open tomorrow?" "We are." "Does 10 a.m. work?" "Perfect." After we hung up, Mark looked at me. "She tried to change the locks on your house." "She tried," I said, leaning back in the chair. "She's realizing she doesn't control anything. The house, the money, the cars, the accounts, everything is in my name." "What about their stuff?" he asked. "Their things are still there. I'll deal with that once the legal pieces are in place," I told him. Around 2, someone knocked on Mark's front door. He glanced at me. I nodded. He went to answer it. I heard her voice immediately. "Is he here? I need to talk to him." "He doesn't want to see you," Mark replied, calm and firm. "This is ridiculous. He can't just shut me out like this." "He can," Mark said, and he did. "You need to leave. Just tell him I only want 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." "No." There was a pause. Then Chloe's voice joined in. "Please, we just want to explain." Mark didn't waver. "Both of you have to go. Right now." I heard crying, footsteps, a car door slam, and then an engine starting. Mark came back. "They're gone," he said. "She looks awful, like she hasn't slept." "She probably hasn't," I replied. That night the messages from Lena turned more frantic. "Please, can we fix this? I'm sorry. I never meant for it to go this far." An hour later, Ronan left. "He's gone. It was a mistake. Please come home." Then another. "The cards aren't working. I can't buy groceries. At least give me access to buy food for Chloe." For the first time, I replied, "You told me to leave." I left. Figure it out. Her answer came instantly. I was angry. I didn't mean it. "You meant exactly what you said." I wrote back. "You planned this. You invited him. You shoved me. You let your daughter scream at me. You all meant it. We can still fix this," she wrote. "There's nothing to fix," I answered. "You made your choice. What about Chloe?" she asked. You're just going to abandon her? That one hurt. I took a breath and typed. I raised that girl for 8 years. I paid for everything she needed, and she screamed at me to get out of my own house in front of everyone. That was her choice. She wanted her real dad. Well, where is he now? There was no reply for about 20 minutes. Then, he left this morning. He said it was too much drama. Sounds exactly like him. I answered. So you're just ending 8 years like this? She asked. You shoved me out of my own home, humiliated me in front of your family, and told me I wasn't Chloe's real father. Yes, I'm ending it. I need money, she wrote. We have bills. Not my problem anymore, I replied. It's your house now, remember? The mortgage is your responsibility. You wouldn't, she said. Watch me, I wrote. The messages stopped after that. Sitting on my brother's couch with my phone finally quiet, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Real, deep peace. The next morning I met with Karen from the property company and started the formal eviction process. She confirmed I was the only name on the deed, the only one on the lease agreements, the only person with legal rights. We'll serve a 30-day notice, she explained. If they're still there after that, we file for a formal eviction. Usually it takes about 60 days total. Most people fight it, but with your paperwork, you're in a very strong position. We set up a lock change for that afternoon at 2. She's going to lose it, I said. Karen just shrugged. Let her. She's not on the deed. After that, I went straight to the law office. Gregory had come in just to meet me, even though it was the day after Christmas. He listened to the entire story without interrupting, then asked targeted questions about finances, property, and how long we'd been together. You were never married? He clarified. No. She wanted to, but I kept delaying. I guess some part of me knew something was off. I said. That makes this much simpler, he replied. There's no common law marriage where you live unless you've been together and presenting as married for more than 10 years. You've been together for 9. So, she has no automatic rights to anything. The house is yours. The cars are yours. If the bank accounts are in your name, they're yours. She'd have to prove she contributed financially to any asset to have a claim, and even then it's an uphill battle. I handed him my documentation. She hasn't worked in 6 years. Everything comes from my income. He scanned the papers and nodded. This is excellent. You're more organized than most people who walk in here. I could use you to train some of my assistants, he joked. Then he asked, what about Chloe? Any formal adoption, custody agreements, child support arrangements? None, I said. Her biological dad, a guy named Ronan Lane, has legal custody on paper. He just never used it. I've been the one raising her, but nothing legal. Then you have no legal obligation to her either, he said gently. I know it sounds harsh, but from a legal perspective, you're free. It did sound harsh, but after hearing Chloe's voice telling me to get out, after watching her sit there in silence while her mother tore me down, I felt nothing. What's next? I asked. I'll send a formal letter to Ronan stating he is not to contact you except through legal channels, Gregory said. I'll also send a letter to Chloe's biological father, informing him that you're no longer financially responsible for his daughter and that he needs to step up. Then we wait for the eviction process to play out. As for my fee, I'll need a retainer of $2,500. If this goes to court, there will be more, but honestly, with documentation this solid, I doubt it will get that far. She doesn't have a leg to stand on. I wrote the check on the spot. By noon, I was back at my brother's place. My phone had been oddly quiet all morning, which made me nervous. Sure enough, at 1:30, I got a call from Chloe's private school, a place called Hillside Academy that I've been paying roughly $11,000 a year for. This is Principal Marin, the woman said. I have your partner here, and she's very upset. She says you canceled Chloe's tuition payments. I'm not Chloe's legal guardian, I said calmly, and that woman is not my wife. You'll need to speak with Chloe's real father about tuition. His name is Ronan Lane. I'm sure Chloe can give you his contact information. There was a long pause. I understand, she said slowly, and the current term's balance was paid in full back in August. The spring term hasn't started yet. Then it's no longer my responsibility, I told her. If Mr. Lane wants his daughter to stay at your school, he can contact you. I'm done. I hung up, and 20 minutes later my phone exploded again. You called the school, Lena texted. Chloe's crying. How could you do this to her? I didn't do anything to her, I replied. She did this to herself. She's 15. She told me to get out of my own house. She's old enough to live with that choice. You're being cruel, Lena wrote. No, I answered. I'm being final. There's a difference. A little later, another call came in from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. This is Mr. Lawson from State Social Services, the man said. We receive a report this morning about a minor in potential danger, a girl named Chloe. I clenched my jaw. What about her? The caller said you abandoned her and left her without a home. I need to ask you a few questions, he said. I'm not Chloe's legal guardian, I replied. Never have been. Her father is Ronan Lane. He has full legal custody. I was just the guy her mother was dating, who happened to pay for everything. I'm not even her stepfather. We never got married. No adoption. No custody agreement. He typed for a moment. And the mother? She's the one who shoved me and humiliated me in front of her family, I said. She's also the one who should be calling Ronan to support his daughter or getting a job instead of calling you to try and manipulate me into coming back. More typing. I understand, he said at last. And their current housing situation? They're in my house, the house I own. I've initiated the eviction process because I no longer want them living there. They have 30 days to find another place. Is that clear? Very, he said. I'll follow up with the mother and the biological father. Thank you for your time. As soon as we hung up, I texted Lena. Calling social services on me? Seriously? How did you think that would end? It wasn't me. It was my mom, she replied. She's worried about Chloe. Your mother should be more worried about you getting a job than trying to manipulate me, I answered. I applied to 3 places yesterday, she wrote. Good, I replied. You're going to need income. Later that day, Gregory called. Your ex hired a lawyer, he said. Some guy named Morrison. He sent a letter claiming she has rights to the house because she's lived there 8 years. Can he do that? I asked. He can try, Gregory said, sounding amused. But he'll lose. I responded with documents showing you as the sole owner, all mortgage payments from your accounts, and her complete lack of financial contribution. Once he realizes she can't pay him and has no case, he'll drop her or she'll run out of money. And if he doesn't drop her, then we go to court and she loses in front of a judge, he said. Either way, you're fine. How are you holding up? Better every day, I answered. Good, he said. Oh, and one more thing. Ronan left me a very angry voicemail. Apparently, he didn't know she had been telling everyone he had legal custody and refusing to exercise it. He's just now finding out she lied about that too. Family law is never boring. That night, Mark and his wife Jenny cooked dinner. They'd both been incredible through all of this, never judging, just supporting. How long are you planning to stay? Mark asked. I'm looking at apartments this weekend, I said. I found a decent 1-bedroom about 20 minutes from work. I'm not going back to the house. Too many ghosts, and it's too big just for me. I'll probably sell it once they're out. Jenny put down her fork. Can I ask you something? She said gently. Do you feel bad for Chloe at all? I thought about it. At first I did, I admitted. But then I remembered how she yelled at me to get out. I remembered her sitting there, saying nothing, while her mother shoved me and let everyone laugh at me. She's 15, not 5. She knew what she was doing. What if she tries to apologize? Jenny asked. Then she'll learn that some things can't be fixed with a simple "I'm sorry," I said. I spent 8 years being her dad. I paid for school, clothes, food, activities, her phone. I showed up for every event. I helped with homework. And the second her biological father showed up, I became nothing. Fine. Now I'm acting like nothing. Seems fair. My phone buzzed on the table. Another text from an unknown number. It's Chloe. Please talk to me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean what I said. Mom made me say it. I showed the message to Mark. Now she's claiming her mother forced her, I said. Do you believe her? He asked. It doesn't matter, I answered. Even if it's true, she still said it. She chose to go along. She's old enough to tell her mother no. Then I blocked that number too. The next morning I got an email from Hillside Academy. They were withdrawing Chloe's enrollment immediately due to non-payment of next term's tuition. They thanked me for years of support and wished me well. I forwarded it to Gregory with a note. Proof I'm no longer responsible. He replied within minutes. Perfect. Keep every email like this. That afternoon, Lena showed up at my job. Security called me from the front desk. There's a woman here insisting she's your wife, the guard said. She's very upset. I don't have a wife, I told him, and I don't want to see her. Please ask her to leave. We already did, he said. She's refusing and says she'll wait until your shift ends. I sighed. Call the police. Tell them a non-employee is trespassing and refusing to leave. Are you sure? He asked. Very sure. 10 minutes later, security called back. The police escorted her off the property, he said. She's gone. That evening, Mark showed me his phone. You need to see this, he said. It was a social media post from Lena. After 8 years together, he abandoned me and my daughter over a misunderstanding, she wrote. He won't answer calls, changed the locks, cut off money, left us with nothing. This is the man I thought I knew. Devastated doesn't begin to describe it. The comments were mixed. Some people comforted her. Others asked what exactly the misunderstanding was. Then I saw a comment from her cousin Sophie, who had been at the Christmas dinner. Maybe tell them the whole story, Sophie wrote. Like how you shoved him in front of everyone, invited your ex to sit in his chair, and let Chloe scream at him to get out. That misunderstanding. Sophie's comment had dozens of likes. She's trying to control the narrative, I said. And it's not working, Mark replied. The people who were there are talking. I handed him back the phone. Let her post whatever she wants. The truth has a way of leaking out. That night, I slept better than I had in years. 23 days until the eviction was final. 23 days until I was completely free. She wanted me gone. Mission accomplished. Now we all had to live with that. Over the next couple of weeks, the truth spread. Sophie's comments sparked others. An aunt of Lena's posted a long message defending me, saying she'd watched the whole thing and was disgusted. 2 of Lena's friends reached out to me privately to apologize for believing her first version of events. The story she tried to push fell apart quickly. I signed a lease on a small 1-bedroom apartment closer to work and moved in. It was smaller than the house, but it was mine, my space, a fresh start. One afternoon my phone rang from new number. I almost ignored it, but answered anyway. Is this the guy who used to date my ex? A man's angry voice asked. Who's this? I replied. This is Ronan, he said. We need to talk. I leaned back in my chair. I'm listening. She's been calling me non-stop, showing up at my place, crying that you ruined everything, he said. She brought Chloe yesterday, trying to guilt me into letting them move in. I told her to get lost. I haven't been a real dad to that kid in years. I sent support payments when the court forced me. That's it. Now she wants us to play happy family after spending years telling everyone I was useless. She even dragged me in front of you on Christmas just to humiliate you. And now she's telling people it was my idea, that I manipulated her into inviting me. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. She's desperate, I said. Desperate people say anything. Look, I'm not a good guy, he admitted. I know that. I bailed on them. But what she did to you that night, that wasn't about me. That was her trying to put you in your place. That was calculated. I know, I said. So what are you going to do about her lying and dragging my name around, he asked. Nothing, I replied. The people who matter know the truth. Everyone else doesn't matter to me. There was a long silence. She's going to keep calling me, he said. Block her, I told him. I did. She keeps finding new numbers to use. Not my problem, I said. You showed up at my house, sat in my chair, and smiled while she tore me down. You're on your own. I hung up before he could reply. Later that week, Gregory called with an update. Her lawyer dropped her, he said. Morrison sent a notice saying he no longer represents her due to non-payment and irreconcilable differences in strategy, which is lawyer code for she wanted me to argue nonsense and couldn't afford my bill. She's alone now. The eviction still stands. She has 15 days left. If she's not out by then, the sheriff's department will remove her. For her belongings, I recommend you be there when she moves out. Take pictures, have a witness, don't touch anything. That way she can't claim you damaged or kept her stuff. I agreed. A few days before the deadline, Chloe's old school counselor called. I wanted to check on Chloe, she said. She's having a hard time since transferring to the public school. She listed you as an emergency contact. We haven't been able to reach her father. Take me off that list, I said immediately. I'm not involved anymore. Contact Ronan Lane. That's her father. She speaks very highly of you. The counselor said softly. She says you've been more of a father than anyone. That made me go quiet. She said that. I asked. She did. The counselor replied. She also said she made a terrible mistake and doesn't know how to fix it. I sat there with the phone pressed to my ear, staring at nothing. Some mistakes don't have an easy fix, I said finally. She's 15. Actions have consequences. She told me to get out. I got out. Now she understands what that means. I understand, the counselor said. If you ever change your mind about contact, our door is open. I didn't answer that. I just ended the call and stared at my phone. Part of me wanted to feel bad, to reach out. But then I pictured that dinner again, the shove, the shouting, the silence while her mother humiliated me. No, she made her choice. 3 days before the eviction deadline, I drove past the house. There was a small moving truck in the driveway. I didn't stop. That night, Mark texted. She's asking everyone if they know where you live, he wrote. I've told everyone not to say anything. Thank you, I replied. You okay? He asked. Better every day, I answered. The night before the deadline, a letter showed up at my brother's address, somehow tracked to me. The envelope had my name on it in Chloe's handwriting. I opened it in my new apartment, sitting on my second-hand couch with a beer. I'm sorry, it began. I know those words don't fix anything. I know I hurt you more than I've hurt anyone. Mom told me Dad wanted to come to dinner and that I should act excited. She said you would understand and that we'd all be a big family. I was stupid. I believed her when she told me to tell you to leave. I didn't think you'd actually go. I didn't think you'd really stay gone. I lost the best father I've ever had because I was a dumb kid who listened to the wrong person. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you to care. I just need you to know I understand what I did. I will regret it for the rest of my life. I read it twice, folded it, slid it back into the envelope, and left it on my kitchen counter. She was right. Words didn't fix it. The next morning, Gregory called. They're out, he said. The property manager confirmed they moved yesterday afternoon. You're free to inspect the house whenever you're ready. I'll go today, I said. Do you want me there? He asked. No, I'll take Mark. When we walked into the house, it felt different. Empty in a way that had nothing to do with the missing furniture. Their stuff was gone, but they'd left the place clean. Credit where it's due. We walked room to room. The dining room, where everything had blown up. The bedroom we had shared. Chloe's room, now bare. How do you feel? Mark asked from the doorway. Relieved, I said. Sad. Angry. Free. All of it. You gonna sell it? He asked. Yeah, I said. Too many ghosts. We spent an hour taking photos, checking for damage, making sure everything was in order. As we were leaving, I noticed another envelope taped to the kitchen counter. This one was from Lena. I almost left it there, but curiosity won. I don't expect forgiveness, her letter said. I don't expect anything. I just need you to know that I destroyed the best thing I ever had. Ronan came to that dinner because I invited him. I wanted to make you jealous. I wanted you to fight for me, to prove you love me. Instead, you showed me exactly who you are. Someone with dignity. Someone who knows his worth. Someone who doesn't beg. I spent 8 years with a good man and threw it away playing games. You'll never read this. You'll never know how sorry I am. But I needed to write it anyway. Goodbye. I handed the letter to Mark. He read it and shook his head. She really thought you'd fight for her, he said. I don't fight for people who push me away, I said. I let them go. We locked the door behind us for the last time. A realtor would handle the sale. On my drive back to the apartment, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. It's Chloe. I heard you were at the house. I just wanted to say thank you for everything you did for me, even though I don't deserve it. I hope one day you can forgive me. I hope one day I can forgive myself. I read it at a red light, set the phone face down, and kept driving. Some bridges once burned, stay burned. That night I slept in my apartment, in my space, in my quiet. No regrets. No what-ifs. Just forward. 3 months later, I was in a completely different place, literally and mentally. The house sold within 2 weeks. It was a good neighborhood at a fair price. I put the profit into my future. I bought new furniture. Started a savings account with only my name on it. Picked up a used truck that ran reliably. Work was going well. I returned to hobbies I'd abandoned. I joined a gym again. I reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in years. One Saturday morning at a hardware store, I spotted Lena down the aisle with her mother. She looked thinner, worn out, stressed. She saw me and froze, clearly weighing whether to come over. I made the choice for both of us. I turned and walked the other way, paid for my things, and left. No conversation. No closure. I didn't need either. Later that afternoon, I got one last text from a number I didn't recognize, but I knew it was her. I saw you today. You look happy. I'm glad. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you find someone who deserves you, someone smarter than I was. I stared at the message for a minute, then typed one word back. Thanks. That was it. Last contact. Last word. A week later, I was having dinner with Mark and Jenny when she asked the question I'd been avoiding. Do you think you'll be ready to date again? Maybe someday, I said. I'm not in a hurry. What would you look for now? She asked. I thought about it. Someone who knows her own worth, I said. Someone who doesn't play games. Someone who understands that respect isn't negotiable. Mark raised his beer. To new beginnings. I clinked my bottle against his. To knowing when to walk away, I added. Driving back to my apartment that night, I thought about that Christmas dinner. The shove. The laughter. The humiliation. And I realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't hurt. I was grateful. Grateful that they showed me exactly who they were before I married her, before I legally adopted Chloe, before I was truly trapped. They thought they were putting me in my place, teaching me a lesson. And they did, just not the one they expected. They taught me to leave. I parked in my spot, grabbed my keys, and went inside. My space. My life. My peace. No regret. No looking back. Just a man who finally knew his value and refused to settle for anyone who didn't see it. They told me to go. It was the best decision they ever made for me. And that's where my story ends for today. If you stayed with me until now, why not hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next story. YouTube is showing you a couple of videos on the screen that I'm sure you'll enjoy next. So click one of them, and I'll be waiting for you in the next chapter.